So, you know, those people that buy those items that's just very expensive. I mean, for some people, it might not be that expensive, but to some people, it could be very expensive. And I'm no different. I do have items that I buy that can come off a bit pricey, but to some people, it might not be that much. It might be breadcrumbs to some people. But in this video, we could determine if that's the case because I'm going to be talking about 6 items that I buy regardless of price. Let's get into it. The first item I want to talk about on this list is the PlayStation 5. And hold on. I already know, me being a personal finance channel, a lot of people say games are a waste of time. I know everybody been seeing those memes of people stepping outside and losing money the second they put their foot on their doormat. Well, the PlayStation 5 kind of stops you from doing that. Basically, what I'm trying to say is if you have a very good game that you're playing and you're in the middle of playing it, sometimes that could distract you from doing things that could cost you more money, like stepping outside. So I actually use the PlayStation 5 for that reason. Plus, I'm a big game nerd. Other than that, I do use it for personal finance purposes because a lot of the times when I'm thinking about going somewhere and I don't really need to go there because I know I'm going to spend money if I go there, I just hop on the PlayStation 5. And then the next item actually is attached to the PlayStation 5, but the PlayStation Portal. So I personally like to play my PlayStation games handheld, but before the PlayStation Portal came out, the only way to do that was the PSP, which I actually have a PSP Vita. I don't know which one's better because I only played it for like a day, but that's besides the fact. Anyways, I like to play games handheld because I don't like to always sit in one room to play the game. And for anybody that understands how the PlayStation Portal works, you can't play it like on the go. It has to still be in your home, but I don't have to be in one room. I can walk around the house and still play my game. So for me, that was a must have. So I bought that as soon as it released. So I bought the PlayStation 5 at retail for $500 and I bought the PlayStation Portal also at retail at $200. So as soon as the PlayStation Portal came out, I knew I had to get it. So those were the first, I guess you could put it one, but I would say two because they're two different items. So that's my 2 purchases I would buy regardless of price. But I got 4 more. My next non-negotiable purchase, no matter what, is the latest iPhone with the highest storage. And I'm not gonna lie, this one might slowly fall off, but I do have the iPhone 15 Pro 1TB. I actually made a video of what I use my iPhone for and why I get the latest one with the highest storage. And it would make sense if you watch that video. I'm only gonna briefly talk about it here, but basically I get the latest iPhone with the most storage because I use my iPhone literally for every aspect of my business, this YouTube channel you're watching, and much more. So basically me having the latest iPhone and it being efficient enough to have all the storage I need on it, because all these clips that I'm about to film for YouTube, I'm going to put on my iPhone before I render it to the actual channel. So I do actually need my phone to have a lot of storage. So for those people that's like 1TB is not really necessary, I think if you're a content creator who uses their phone, because you got to think nowadays, some people don't even have an expensive camera because all they do is make content for TikTok. And let's be real, when you make content for TikTok, you don't necessarily need a $1,000 camera, $2,000 camera. You just need your phone because that content will probably perform better than high quality content. So for those people, 1TB phone might actually make sense. And I fall into that category because I actually use my YouTube footage, which is a bigger file for the phone to hold. And so I take up a lot of storage extremely fast on my phone. And that's why I get the 1TB iPhone rather than getting the lower storage options. But the iPhone 15 Pro 1TB cost me $1,500 roughly. And since we're talking about Apple products, my next purchase that I will buy regardless of the price is the AirPod Max. I must say the AirPod Max is probably one of the best, if not the best, noise canceling headphones I've ever used. In the functionality, the comfortability, me personally, I think the AirPod Max are a very good investment for content creators. It definitely gives you that feel whenever you're editing or doing anything involving your video content, to where you really can dial in and focus on whatever you're doing. And that's a big reason why I invested into the AirPod Max. And the AirPod Max are expensive. And even though I bought them at a later date, I still bought them at retail at $550. I could not find it cheaper. And me personally, one of the big things that I do talk about a lot throughout the channel, sometimes buying things cheaper, you can get the short end of the stick. So sometimes buying it brand new, quality, name brand, it can last you a very long time. And from what I see from AirPod Max users, their AirPod Max lasts them pretty much the entirety of the time that they had it. They don't really have to replace them. And I also fall in that category. I have my AirPod Max for almost a year now, and I haven't had any issues with them. And plus, if you want to change out the ear cushions on the AirPod Max, for anybody that have them know, it's extremely easy. Just pull it off and put a new one on there. And that's one of the features I love a lot about the AirPod Max. If you're looking for very good noise canceling headphones, AirPod Max is the way to go. So this next one is a bit silly, and I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't seem like much if you only think about one of them, but if you add them all together, it can add up quite a bit. But my piggy banks that's in the back of my videos, so I actually like collecting those piggy banks. I really enjoy it. So whenever I find a new one that I like, or if I like the character, I buy it, no questions asked, whatever the price is. So even if it is overpriced, I would still buy it. I look at it more like a collectible rather than a piggy bank off the internet. And the biggest reason why I like collecting these piggy banks is because I think it's a bit ironic, because I would never tell you to save your money in a piggy bank, because there's high yield savings accounts out there like SoFi that offers 4.60 APY on your savings account, and you should be saving your money there. And if you don't bank with SoFi, you probably should. I got plenty of videos on the channel that can catch you up to speed on SoFi. And if you do want to sign up for the bank, I have a link below that you could check out, and it does help the channel out. So I would greatly appreciate it if you do use that link when you do sign up. So if you got 8 of them and they $20 a piece, we got $160 that I've spent on these piggy banks, and I don't plan on stopping there. And the last thing that I spend money on that I do not regret, not even the slightest, is the heat press that I use for my business. So when I first started my business, I started off doing POD, which is print on demand. Basically, whenever you get an order, you package that order as you get it, but in-house. So you do have places like Printify, which I highly suggest. And if you do decide that you want to use Printify for your business, you can use the link below. But companies like Printify basically do all of the stuff that I did in-house with this heat press. This heat press was my Printify at one point, but it is not a good method, especially if you want to scale your business, because we did everything in-house, which meaning only the people who knew how to use the heat press properly could actually package orders. So we would have to wait for that person to finish packaging all the orders. So if you have a large volume of customers and there's only one person using one heat press, basically, long story short, the packages take a long time to go out. So it is smarter to use companies like Printify, who can get your orders out in a timely fashion and just very organized. Although I do recommend Printify, I still am very happy that I got the heat press, because at the time, like I told you, it taught me so much about my business that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't get my hands dirty myself, and my business partner helping me alongside to get that to the next level. So that's the things that I would spend whatever amount that it costs on it, regardless of the price, simply because I also feel like a lot of the things that I mentioned are things that keeps a peace of mind. I do preach a lot about saving money on this channel, but you do have those guilty pleasures that you have that where, okay, you might get it a couple times or you might buy it, but if you think about some of the things that I talked about in this video, like the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation Portal, I don't have to buy that 6 times in a year. I should only have to buy it once, and it should work until the PlayStation 6 come out. So, and even with the iPhone 15 Pro, I have another year until they release another iPhone. And if I decide that I don't like the newest one, I just don't get it. But don't ever beat yourself up about certain purchases, especially if you plan on using it and actually getting the value out of the thing that you're using. But with that being said, I'll see y'all on the next one.